Good morning and welcome back to the Livingston Parish News Morning Show. My name is McHugh David, publisher and editor of the news. Appreciate you guys joining us this morning. If you're watching this live, thank you for that. Please remember that Facebook does keep these videos up. You can watch them at any time. You can watch them tonight if you really wanted to. We also appreciate anybody that's checking us out online. We do upload audio and video versions of this show to our website, www.livingstonparishnews.com/podcast, so you can check them out there as well. Want to remind folks that Mother's Day, there it is coming up Sunday. We talked to you about Mr. Ricky Harriman yesterday, who could make flowers and all sorts of things, all sorts of good arrangements and gifts for your mother. Today we're talking about the Antique Village in Denham Springs. You can go there. All those shops are starting to try to open in some way, shape, or form. You can check out their websites, their Facebook pages, and some shops are open. You can go check them out, look for a gift, especially this Saturday. There's also food to eat. Tola will be serving curbside food and that sort of thing. So please check out the Antique Village, looking for a present for your mother for Mother's Day, which is coming up this Sunday. Don't forget. Looking at your traffic this morning, 4H Club Road, River Road, and 190, looking at some more delays. If you kind of look at the overall pattern, anecdotally at least, it does look like more people are starting to head back to work. This seems to be an increase every day, day over day. 190 in Range also has a few delays. 447 and 190 looking at some heavy delays, and the on-ramps have some delays as well getting on the I-12. However, I-12 itself looking relatively clear. Minor delays on 64 heading into Central. Looking at your weather today, it's pretty nice outside. 56 degrees currently. It's very sunshiny. I don't know if that's a word. The sunshine is beautiful. There's a lot of sunshine this morning. Going to be up to 80 degrees today. I'm just going to start over with the weather. I do apologize for that. 56 degrees, your current temperature. It's very sunny outside. 80 degrees, you're over the day high, and it's going to stay sunshine. Looking at 59 overnight. Potential for rain again. Haven't really gotten that heavy rain that has been expected overnight the last two nights. Might get it tonight, but definitely looking at some afternoon showers tomorrow. That'll be Friday, so be prepared for that. Getting into your coronavirus statistics this morning, 30,399 cases, 20,316 recovered, 194,000 tests, 1,465 hospitalized on 187 ventilators, and 2,094 deaths. In Livingston Parish, you're looking at 266 cases, 18 deaths, and 3,100 tests. Want to go over these mitigation efforts with you real quick. Wash your hands with soap and water for 20 seconds or more constantly throughout the day. Disinfect common surfaces at home and at the office. Wear a mask in public if at all possible. Don't touch your face. Maintain 6 feet of distance between yourself and others in public. Control your cough with your elbow or a tissue. Stay at home to work if at all possible, and definitely stay home if you are sick, and utilize telehealth to get in touch with your doctor. There was a delay yesterday with the coronavirus reporting numbers. According to the Louisiana Department of Health, they had network issues with their database and had trouble getting those numbers updated. We didn't actually get the raw numbers until about 3:45 in the afternoon, which is about 4 hours late. But we did get them. We got them up. You have those updated numbers. A lot of speculation before that came out that maybe there was going to be some kind of a problem, but it was just a technical glitch. According to the governor yesterday, pretty run-of-the-mill meeting or press conference. However, he said Friday is going to be a big day in terms of his press conferences. He's going to be going over sort of a deep dive on the testing plan for Louisiana going forward. This includes both the coronavirus regular testing, which, as mentioned, we're up to 194,000 total tests statewide, 3,100 in Livingston Parish. It's also going over serology testing, but the big thing he's been talking about lately is the contact tracing. That's investigative healthcare, where people who present to the hospital or present to a testing site and test positive, they're going to get contacted by the Louisiana Department of Health, find out where they've been, what they've been doing, who they've been in contact with. And one of the things he said yesterday is, you're going to be looking at probably, if you get contacted by the Louisiana Department of Health and they tell you you've been in contact with somebody with COVID-19 within the acceptable parameters of you might having contracted the virus, they are going to suggest a 14-day quarantine right off the bat. So that was an interesting statement made by the governor yesterday. But again, that deep dive will happen tomorrow afternoon at his regularly scheduled press conference. Hopefully it's at 2:30 this week and it doesn't get back, or this Friday, it doesn't get backed up like it did yesterday all the way to 4:30. Government Affairs Committee at the state capitol yesterday voted to go ahead and send a bill to the full House discussing it is a House committee discussing taking the teeth out of, I think was the way Mr. Representative Blake Miguez put it, of the governor's stay-at-home order by reducing his ability to declare emergencies. This, of course, becomes problematic. It's an amended version compared to what we've talked about in the past. They're not 100% sure if we would lose federal funding in this case. However, that is still on the table after some questions have been asked. But the main thing now is that this new amended version would limit the governor's ability to respond to disasters. And of course, we're heading into hurricane season, which is the main concern of many members of both the House and Senate. So we'll see how that goes as it heads towards the full House, probably today or tomorrow. But again, that did pass the Government Affairs Committee yesterday. And again, they are trying to take a bite out of the teeth of the stay-at-home order and try to limit the governor's ability to declare an emergency, which again, as his general counsel suggested, that would be the governor's general counsel suggested, that would remove his ability to respond appropriately to things like hurricanes in the future. So not entirely sure how far this is going to go, but it has left committee. The Manship School issued a survey. 1,000 Louisiana residents were polled. Some interesting results here. 80% of those 1,000 said they stayed at home and did not violate the governor's stay-at-home order, meaning they only went to go grab groceries, go to the pharmacy, or go to the doctor. Otherwise, they stayed home. Another interesting part of that was 50% say they disinfect frequently. So that's an interesting sort of, those mitigation efforts. There's a lot of pushback on publicly on masks. There's, a lot of people who do suggest that they do now wash their hands a little more often. And I know a lot of people are struggling not to touch their face, but it was interesting to see that only about 50% expressed that they were disinfecting those common surfaces often. It is highly suggestible that you do that. But again, about 80% of that survey suggested that they were following the governor's stay-at-home order, which included only leaving to go to the grocery store, pharmacy, or doctor. Otherwise, they stayed home. You're looking at about 30% or closer to 31% unemployment in Louisiana currently. They are trying their best to, get those folks into the unemployment system, get them paid. But the interesting thing is when you back up a step from there, it's being reported now that the CARES Act, which is enhancing unemployment, issuing those stimulus checks, as well as integrating money directly into the markets in terms of business, could add up to $6 trillion worth of debt in the next few years. Of course, the debt continued to rise after the most recent tax cut that was passed by Republicans. And it will be interesting to see how much this affects the government. But of course, they will have to borrow the money to be able to fund the CARES Act, or they've already borrowed a lot of it. And of course, there will be interest to pay on that, among other things. So in the end, right now they're looking, not in the end and right now, excuse me. Right now they are predicting that it could be upwards of $6 trillion. Of course, it could be more, it could be less. We're still in the early stages of this. But compounding with the high unemployment rate, that's what they're looking at in terms of debt service. So it's going to be interesting to see where that ends up, considering the United States was already very highly leveraged in terms of government debt, very close to that balance where GDP was not keeping up with principal and interest on the loans. So we will see how that goes in the future. Want to remind folks that it is Teacher and Nurse Appreciation Week. So please, these guys, both groups have been very much frontline here against the novel coronavirus. Want to keep them in your thoughts, especially those nurses going into the hospitals, but these teachers too. They were told, hey, school's going to be closing. You're going to have to do distance learning. They did everything they can to innovate, stay in touch with these kids, and keep teaching them. So thank both of these groups. If you ever see any of them, they have been through a lot due to the novel coronavirus, and they have stepped up to the challenge. Of course, Louisiana was a huge hotspot and a concern for the federal government early in the process. We were having massive trending upwards following Italy, which is a whole country. Thankfully, our healthcare system was able to battle back, and we were able to curb the spread of the virus. And thanks to those nurses and doctors for that. And thank you to those teachers for continuing to teach our kids, especially during this stay-at-home order. I want to talk about these mitigation efforts one more time. Wash your hands with soap and water for 20 seconds or more. Disinfect common surfaces at home and at the office. Wear a mask in public. Don't touch your face. Maintain 6 feet of distance between you and others in public. Control your cough with your elbow or a tissue. Stay at home to work if at all possible, and stay at home if you are sick, and utilize telehealth to get in touch with your doctor. Also want to remind folks, 10 people or less to a gathering. One last time with your coronavirus statistics: 30,399 cases, 20,316 recovered on 194,000 tests. 1,465 are hospitalized, 187 on ventilators, 2,094 deaths. In Livingston Parish, 266 cases, 18 deaths on 3,100 tests. Going around with your traffic real quick: 4-H Club Road, River Road, and 190 in Denham Springs, looking at some delays there. 190 in Range, looking at delays as well. You're also looking at delays at 64 and 16, with some minor delays on 64 heading into Central. 447 and 190 having some delays. All three on-ramps at Range, Juban, and 447 all having minor delays getting up on the interstate, but I-12 relatively clear this morning. It's currently 56 degrees and very sunny. It's going to stay sunny throughout the day. 80 degrees is your high. 59 degrees your overnight low. Potential again for some overnight showers. Not entirely sure if we're going to get them, but rain is possible tomorrow afternoon. Want to remind folks again, please remember that Mother's Day is coming up this weekend. Try to think of the Denham Springs Antique Village if you can. Lots of gifts. All these shops are starting to get back open again. Even if you can't get into the shop, please check out their websites or their Facebook pages for individual items you might want. They do deliver curbside. However, again, a lot of these shops are opening. You may want to go check them out Friday afternoon or Saturday. And please remember that these shops will be following social distancing guidelines, only allowing a certain amount of customers inside, and in some cases you will be required to wear a mask. One last time, my name is McHugh David, publisher and editor of the news. Appreciate you guys joining us for the Livingston Parish News Morning Show. Please remember we're on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Instagram, and YouTube. We are once a week in print on Thursdays at $7 a month to get that in your mailbox. We are also online, www.livingstonparishnews.com. We do have a free page on our website that's dedicated to coronavirus coverage. It is free. Again, usually it's $5 a month to use our website. This is free. We do hope you have a great day. It is a beautiful and sunny day, and we will see you again tomorrow morning right here. I always say in the booth, but again, in the corner of my home.